Hi guys, it's Julian and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will continue reading Polyglot Notes, and in the last episode we mentioned and we finished the chapter related with techniques to improve our speaking skills. And today we will start another chapter, which it is how to develop reading skills basically, and we just need like a couple of more of episodes to finish this book. So let's go ahead and let's start with this episode. Okay, developing reading skills. And we have a quote and said, who reads a lot knows a lot. And it is a Ukrainian proverb. Reading acts as an independent type of speech activity. The task of learning to read is to obtain information from the text in the necessary volume to solve a specific speech problem using certain reading technologies. Reading can act both as a means of formation and as a control of related speech and language skills, since the following algorithm is used. The use of reading allows optimizing the process of learning language and speech material. Okay, this is pretty important. I want to highlight this part. And basically this, since the following algorithm is used. The use of reading allows optimizing the process of learning language and speech material. Communicative tasks that focus on controlling vocabulary and grammar, listening, writing, and speaking involve reading and building upon writing text and instructions. The exercise of forming and practicing all language and speech skills is similarly based on writing guidelines for exercises and tasks. Okay, parameters for evaluating reading technique. Reading rate, a certain number of words per minute. 2. Observance of accent norms, meaning logical. Observance of norms of pause. Use of correct intonation models. Understanding the text read. Learn the rules of reading. Reading rules are a basic, okay, this is another section, and this section said basically learn the rules of reading. That's pretty important because basically it's how we will be reading and the rules that we need to follow to read properly. So reading rules are a basic part of knowledge that allows you to learn to read in a foreign language, to pronounce the sound of a word correctly. Take advantage of a simple table and learn reading rules and transcription. You can find such material in your textbooks or on the internet. Okay. Learn transcription. The transcription shows how the word should be read. Okay, the transcription shows how the word should be read. Studying the first couple of hundreds of words, reading the transcription, you will establish logical links, reveal regularities in the foreign language. Gradually, you will stop thinking about how a word is pronounced and start doing it automatically. Okay, that's pretty important. Like, okay, I will read this part again because I think it's pretty important. It's about we don't need to overthink about how to pronounce this stuff. Of course, yes, at the beginning, but there is a point in which we need to make it automatically. So that's how this part of the book says. And yeah, I will read this part again. And okay, learn transcription. The transcription shows how the word should be read. Studying the first couple of hundreds of words, reading the transcription, you will establish logical links, reveal regularities in the foreign language. Basically, it's related with other techniques that we mentioned in other videos, and it's about, for example, when we talk about how to learn vocabulary, we mentioned that usually we can link a foreign word with the meaning in our native language. So in that sense, in making that, we can remember better and make associations between those of both. So we can remember better how to say those words when we make a link between the foreign word and the meaning in our native language. So that's the point. So gradually you will stop thinking about how a word is pronounced and start doing it automatically. You can find transcriptions in any dictionary. When you read a transcription of a word, you use visual memory, and most people have a better auditory memory. So the rules of reading will be remembered more quickly. Yeah, okay. Phonetic transcription is an exact record of a word. It is written in square brackets. This type of transcription is the most correct and you should work with it. It will take 3-4 days to learn it, but the positive effect will be felt throughout the whole period of learning a foreign language. With the advent of online dictionaries, all you need to do is enter a word and listen to its sounds. Yeah, basically it's like put emphasis. Well, in the first paragraph, the author said that you need to engage the meaning of foreign word with the meaning in English, in your native language, and eventually you will become uh, you will be able to express that word in a natural way and automatically in your speech, and that's pretty important. And making that, you will remember how to say that word. It's like related, it's like I feel that it is pretty the same that we studied in other videos actually, and that's because it's kind of confusing. But well, and now the author mentioned that you need to study the phonetics in the foreign language, in the language, in your target language, I mean, and making that it would be easier for you to express in your speech the words in a better way, and when you read as well. So yeah, uh, but the positive effect about learn the phonetics, the transcriptions and stuff will be felt throughout the whole period of learning a foreign language. With the advent of online dictionaries, all you need to do is enter a word and listen to its sound. Teaching reading throughout textbooks and self-taught tutorials. Okay, teaching reading throughout textbooks and self-taught tutorials. Okay, in most textbooks and tutorials, reading is taught in the following sequence. The alphabet is okay. In the most textbooks and tutorials, reading is taught in the following sequence. The alphabet is studied sequentially, distinguishing between the name of a letter and the sound it transmits. Yeah, that's pretty clear in French. Like you know how to pronounce the letter in the alphabet, but sometimes it change with the context. And for example, when you read, you know that each letter in the alphabet sounds in a particular way, but in combination, the sound which that letter transmit is kind of different. So one, okay, again, in the most textbooks and tutorials, reading is taught in the following sequence. One, the alphabet is studied sequentially. Okay, the alphabet is studied sequentially, distinguishing between the name of a letter and the sound it transmits. Two, reading different types of syllables. 3. Learning to read words without singling out separate letters, fixing only the graphic image as a whole. Okay, learning to read words without singling out separate letters, fixing only the graphic image as a whole. Yeah, basically you need to read, when you read, you need to see the whole picture. When you read, you don't think, well, now I will say the H, the I, the J, K, L, M. No, you just read in combination with the other letters and then you form the words and the sentences. So that's the appropriate way. Gradual transition from single text types to complex types with different glossary. The subject matter of educational texts the subject matter of educational texts assumes that the student will get the necessary information about the culture of behavior of native speakers, their life, social-political structure, cuisine, literature, art, history, geography, and other information about country studies. This will allow you to adapt socially during your visit to the country of the language you're studying. This is kind of weird, actually. Like, it's like this section is about reading, but it's mentioned like a combination of stuff, which doesn't make too much sense now, because now we just need to stay focused on how to read properly, and then mention this kind of stuff. But it is what it is, I guess. So let's go ahead. Clarify the pronunciation of words. Each language has its own writing and reading rules. Sometimes words are not spelled the way they are pronounced. Some words are some words are not pronounced according to the rules of reading. That happens a lot in. Okay, okay. Some words are not pronounced according to the rules of reading. These are exceptions. Okay, yeah, this happens a lot in French, in which we have the nasal vowels, and when you read it, it's kind of complicated at the beginning. Like the sound is not like in the alphabet. I don't know if that makes sense, but okay, I got it now. It's like we are making a distinguish between the letters, the words, and the sentences in the paper when we read those stuff in your computer and in a paper, etc. But imagine this, like you reading that, but in silence. You don't need to read aloud. So yeah, you can do that, but when you pronounce that aloud, makes a different sound, or it is expressed in a different way than when you read it. Because when you read, you can see the letters and the sentences, but if you read in a silent way, you cannot have the context about how that letter sounds, how those words sounds, and when you speak, you will be noticing that it's pronounced in a different way than when you read it in silence. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's kind of confusing at this point, because we are combining reading with speaking, because when we read aloud, it's a way to speak. Yeah, that's the stuff, I guess. Like you have the words, the alphabet, and those words have a particular sound separately. But when you speak and you need to make combinations, you need to know that it could be sounds pretty different, and that's the point. And it happens a lot with French. Usually you think that you're reading it properly, and if you read, you can talk at the same time in a good way, but it's not. You need to get used to it, because it in French the word sounds in a very different way when you talk. Sorry about that, I speak a lot, I know that, but it was like kinda a good reflection, I guess, at least for me. Okay. Clarify the pronunciation of words. Each language has its own writing and reading rules. Sometimes words are not spelled the way they are pronounced. Some words are not pronounced according to the rules of reading. These are exceptions. Watch the transcription of a word and listen to it in online dictionaries. At the same time, practice correct pronunciation. Read the simple texts. During the reading, you activate the visual memory. As you learn to read and improve your pronunciation, listen to the text. Okay, again, during the reading, you activate the visual memory. As you learn to read and improve your pronunciation, listen to texts spoken by native speakers and then read them. After several such repetitions, read the text in sync with the speaker. Yeah, it's like make shadowing. Okay, this is pretty important. I will highlight this because it's the most important part, I guess, that I found of reading until now. Give me a second. I will just put like Read at the same time as a native speaker. Native speaker, okay. Okay, I will mention this aspect again because I consider that it's very important. Sorry if it takes me a while. For sure, we will be finishing this book like in a year if I just talk a lot more than I read. But it is what it is. Okay, read the simple texts. During the reading, you activate the visual memory as you learn to read and improve your pronunciation. Listen to text spoken by native speakers and then read them. After several such repetitions, read the text in sync with the speaker. Okay, yeah, you can make that with YouTubers online. Like, usually there are many people who read articles or books stuff, and you can listen to those books first, and then you can try to read it, and then at the same time than the speaker. Okay, read them slowly. Speak clearly and expressively every sound and every word, pausing. Try to read expressively. This exercise, you need to develop correct pronunciation and intonation. Do not chase the speed of reading. Do it slowly but correctly. In time, the speed of reading will come to you by itself. It is gained by practice. That's amazing. I will highlight that because I love that paragraph. Okay, read slowly. Remember that. Yeah, it could be pretty useful and funny if I just read expressively. Look for new words after you have read them. Look for new words after you have read them. When reading out loud, it can be difficult to understand the content of a word. How? When reading out loud, it can be difficult to understand the content of a word. Try to catch the main idea and understand what the text is about. After the first time you read it, you can already work with unfamiliar words. Look for meaning in the dictionary. Watch how it is pronounced. To expand your vocabulary, learn new expressions, repeat complex and difficult words. That's amazing. Until at this point, I enjoying this section. At the beginning it was kind of confusing, but now it's pretty beautiful. Okay, I don't know what can I put here. After the first time you read it, you can already work with unfamiliar words. Watch how it is pronounced. To expand your vocabulary, learn new expressions, repeat complex and difficult words. After the first time you read it, you can already work. Okay, try to catch the main idea. Try to catch. Okay. Yeah, of course, it's like always, even in your native language, you will find words that are kind of difficult to understand because it's a new word. But the point is that you need to get the main idea about that you're reading. So, yep. Okay, read at least 30 minutes per day. Wow, yeah, that's kind of difficult if you're learning a lot of languages. For example, I kind of lazy lately with German. So, yeah, read at least 30 minutes per day. Of course, the more you read out loud in a foreign language, the better. The better. It is necessary to immerse your consciousness in the language environment so that you can focus all your attention on the language. Yeah, 30 minutes per day, okay. Read different texts. Read artworks, poems, scientific publications, articles in newspapers and magazines. Different texts will help you develop your reading skills and enrich your vocabulary in different areas of knowledge. Each text will have a different pace of speech and pause, different intonation. Yeah, that's true. Okay, this is pretty important. Actually, everything here is pretty important. Different text. Increase your vocabulary. When reading aloud, foreign words are much better memorized. than when reading to yourself. Okay, when reading aloud, foreign words are much better memorized than when reading to yourself. You see a word, you speak it, you hear it. If you see the word again, it will definitely pop up in your auditory, visual, and speech memory. Okay, yeah, so it's pretty important to read aloud. Train the pronunciation. When you read out loud, you find words that you can barely pronounce. Oh, this like is so freaking me out. Sorry. When you read, okay, train the pronunciation. When you read out loud, you find words that you can barely pronounce. Okay, when you read aloud, you find words that you can barely pronounce. Look in the dictionary to see if you're pronouncing the word correctly. Barely. Yep. All this is amazing. Okay, work on your speed of speech. Reading the text aloud allows you to be okay. Work on your speed of speech. I will read this slowly. Reading the text aloud allows you to build up a pace that is close to the speaking rate of native speakers. In conversation, we have to talk and think about what to say in parallel. This significantly slows down our speech. When you read out loud, your brain is not feverishly trained to generate ideas, words, and sentences like in conversation. You pronounce a text that's already done and practice only the speed of speech. Oh, that was important, I guess. Yeah. Okay. All this is pretty important. Pretty important. I'm highlighting everything, but it is pretty important. Make your speech smooth. Regular reading out loud helps to get rid of stuttering. Okay, regular reading out loud helps to get rid of stuttering, parasite words, reservations. Writing texts are okay. Written texts are written competently and well edited. Listen to the audiobooks. If you are only mastering reading aloud, listen to the audiobooks. If you are only mastering reading aloud, you will find the book of interest in two types: in text format and audiobook. Listen to the audio file and simultaneously follow the text in paper format. You will see and hear the text, how to read it correctly. When you get used to reading and listening at the same time, start repeating yourself to the speaker. Okay, this is pretty important. Give me a second because I want to put this word in my Yankee because I like this sentence. Sorry for that. Okay. Well, basically, the point of this is that there are two types. When you want to read a book, you can have two types of books, like the audiobook and the book in paper. So when you get used to reading and listening at the same time, start repeating yourself to the speaker. Try to copy the speaker's pronunciation and imitate the intonation. Okay. When you listen to audiobooks, you will get used to the sound. When you listen to audiobooks, you will get used to the sound. Okay. When you sorry, but I got blind after that light in my face for all that period. When you listen to audiobooks, you will get used to the sound of foreign speech and will know how to pronounce certain words correctly. Of foreign speech and will know how to pronounce certain words correctly. You will be able to catch the difference between sounds that previously seemed exactly the same. You will be able to catch the difference between sounds that previously seemed exactly the same. Add some artistry. This will help you get rid of monotony and inexpressiveness. Add, add mimicry. Okay, mimicry. Add some artistry. Yeah. This will help you to get rid of monotony and inexpressiveness and mimicry and gesticulation. Add add mimicry, mimicry, I don't know how it's pronounced. Add mimicry and gesticulation. If you read in a relaxed way, then your speech will be easy and beautiful. If you are squeezed, your reading will be confusing. Okay, if you read in a relaxed way, then your speech will be easy and beautiful. If you are squeezed, your reading will be confusing. Use the dictionary. Use the dictionary. You have probably... Okay, okay, okay. Use the dictionary. You have probably heard more than once that when reading, it is desirable to guess the meaning of a word from the That part, my speech was awful, guys. Okay, use the dictionary. You have probably heard that more than once that when reading, it is desirable to guess the meaning of a word from the context and work less with the dictionary. However, you cannot do without a dictionary if a word plays an important role in a sentence, carries a basic semantic load, and you cannot guess its meaning from the context. In this case, you should look into the dictionary so as not to lose the thread of the author's reasoning. If a word is found in the text, it can be concluded that it can be used in spoken speech by native speakers. In this case, you should not guess and learn the exact meaning of the word and enrich your vocabulary. Okay, yeah, basically, if there is an important word in a sentence, because usually it is pretty important, try to, even if we don't know the meaning of a particular word, or we cannot follow the sentence in a little part, but we have the whole picture in mind about what that sentence want to say, it is okay. But if we don't understand a particular word, which it is pretty important to know the meaning of the sentence or about the idea that the authors want to share with us, we need to go to the dictionary and try to fix it. Well, in this one, my speech was kind of awful in the use the dictionary. So until now, I will stop to read now. In the next video, I will reread again that part to make it more clear for you. And yeah, that's it. It was a pleasure for me, guys. I hope you find it useful and keep going. Have a good day and see you later, and bye bye.